Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving straight into an ancient text to explore a story that is, frankly, mind-boggling. We're talking about unimaginable wealth, a high-stakes cosmic wager, and a level of upright devotion that totally defies human logic. We're going to unpack the opening chapter of the book of Job to really get to the bottom of what a life built on pure devotion actually looks like. But before we meet the man of the hour, let's ask a question that cuts right to the core of this whole narrative. Honestly, it cuts to the core of human nature itself. Think about it. If you lost literally everything in a single day, your wealth, your career, your family, your status, would your character survive? Is it actually possible to be good, to be truly devoted for absolutely nothing in return? Keep that in the back of your mind as we go through this. Okay, Section 1, the man from Uz. Let's look at his life before the tragedy. So our story kicks off with a man named Job living in the land of Uz. Now, Job is described as blameless and upright, but he wasn't just a moral standout. The guy was a titan of industry. In an ancient farming society, his portfolio was basically the equivalent of being a tech billionaire today. I mean, look at these staggering numbers. 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 500 yoke of oxen, 500 donkeys, and a massive workforce of servants. Because of this huge accumulation of wealth, the text explicitly calls him the greatest man among all the people of the East. He was literally at the absolute pinnacle of earthly success. And beyond all that material wealth, he had an incredibly rich family life too. He had exactly 10 children, 7 sons and 3 daughters. The text paints this picture of a really close-knit, happy family. His sons would regularly throw these big birthday feasts at their houses, and they always made sure to invite their 3 sisters over to eat and drink with them. It's pretty much the picture of perfect, harmonious prosperity. Now, what's really fascinating here is Job's regular custom of, well, proactive devotion. He didn't just sit back and enjoy his wealth, he actively managed his family's spiritual standing. When these parties wrapped up, Job wouldn't just go back to the office. Early in the morning, he'd purify his children, making a sacrifice for every single one of them. Why? Because, as the text says, Job thought, perhaps my children have sinned and cursed God in their hearts. Think about that. He was so vigilant, so totally devoted, that he actively made amends for sins that might have only happened inside his kids' heads. Incredible. Which brings us to Section 2, a heavenly wager. God and Satan meet. Okay, suddenly the story takes this dramatic, almost cinematic leap. We go straight from earthly wealth into a secretive meeting in the heavenly court. The angels come to present themselves before the Lord, and the text tells us that Satan tags along, having been roaming all over the earth. The Lord points out Job, right? He boasts that there's no one on earth like him, pointing to that blameless and upright devotion. But Satan pushes back. He issues a direct challenge, asking, does Job fear God for nothing? Satan is basically arguing that Job's devotion is purely transactional. He's saying, look, you've built a protective hedge around this guy, you've blessed everything he touches, he doesn't love you, he just loves the perks. So Satan proposes a really chilling test to prove this theory. He challenges the Lord to stretch out his hand and strike everything Job has, betting that Job will instantly drop the righteous act and curse God to his face. And God accepts the wager. He places everything Job owns entirely into Satan's power, but with one strict parameter. He absolutely cannot lay a finger on Job himself. And, just like that, the meeting adjourns and the wheels of disaster start turning. Let's move to Section 3, the 4 messengers. Disaster strikes. Down on Earth, Job is completely oblivious to this cosmic bet. One day, while his kids are out feasting, disaster strikes in this breathtakingly rapid sequence. It's just wave after wave. First, a messenger runs up. The Sabaeans attacked, they stole the oxen and donkeys and killed the servants. But watch this. While he is still speaking, a second messenger bursts in. Fire from heaven has literally burned up the sheep and the shepherds. While he's still speaking, a third messenger hits. Chaldean raiders swept down, took the camels, killed more servants. And then, before that guy can even take a breath, a fourth messenger arrives with the most devastating news imaginable. A massive desert windstorm struck the oldest brother's house, collapsed the building, and all 10 of Job's children are dead. You have to notice the chilling repetition here. Every single one of those 4 messengers ends their horrifying report with exactly the same breathless phrase. I am the only one who has escaped to tell you. It just hammers home the sheer totality of the destruction. In the span of maybe 5 minutes, the greatest man of the East has been violently stripped of his massive enterprise, his workforce, his wealth, and his entire family. It is entirely gone. This takes us to Section 4, devotion in the dust. Let's look at Job's response. All right, so stripped of everything in mere moments, we finally get to see how the wager plays out. Satan guaranteed Job would curse God, but instead, Job stands up, tears his robe, and shaves his head, which were the ancient cultural ways of showing absolute, severe grief. The man is completely broken, but then he does the unthinkable. He falls to the ground, not in anger, not to shake his fist at the sky. He falls to the ground in profound worship. And the core of his reaction is captured right here in this ultimate declaration. Job acknowledges his inherent nothingness. He realizes, hey, I entered this world with zero assets, and I'm going to leave it the exact same way. He refuses to view his former wealth or even his family as entitlements. He sees them as temporary gifts. Even staring into the abyss of absolute, catastrophic ruin, he still declares, "May the name of the Lord be praised." No way, right? It's just staggering. The opening chapter of this ancient narrative wraps up with this definitive summary. Through all of this unimaginable suffering, the complete loss of his livelihood, and the tragic death of his children, Job maintained his blameless character. He did not point the finger and accuse God of wrongdoing. Satan's entire hypothesis, that human devotion is strictly a transactional response to getting good stuff, is right here in this moment proven entirely wrong by Job's unbreakable resilience. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a really powerful thought to chew on. Job's life of upright devotion clearly wasn't anchored to his bank account, his status, or even his family. It was anchored to something way, way deeper. So when the absolute worst happens and that protective hedge is turned down, what's left underneath? If everything you consider a blessing was suddenly stripped away, what would remain of your devotion? It's a heavy, profound question from a truly fascinating text. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I really hope this breakdown helped bring this incredible narrative into sharper focus for you.